As I walked through the door after another exhausting day at work, I was greeted by my husband in the kitchen, arms wide open for a hug. He then ushered me towards our bedroom with a twinkle in his eye, as if he'd just discovered a new toy. The predictable routine of our married life, a bedroom rendezvous for the second time that day, and what felt like the gazillionth time that week. Considering we've been married for 3 decades, you'd think our passion would have simmered down to a gentle flicker by now. But no, my husband, let's call him Michael, had the libido of a teenager discovering puberty for the first time. You see, my husband wasn't just a fan of intimacy, he was a bona fide aficionado, a connoisseur of the carnal arts. While most couples were content with the occasional romp, Michael treated every day like it was a national holiday for the libido. The truth is, Michael was a sex addict. Far from being exciting, fulfilling, or flattering, his insatiable hunger for intimacy left me in physical pain and destroyed my self-esteem and ultimately our marriage. I felt so alone for so long, mistakenly thinking there was something wrong with me for not reciprocating Michael's enthusiasm. I swear, if there was an Olympics for bedroom athletics, Michael would be a gold medalist, no question. The man had stamina that could rival a marathon runner, and I was his unwitting training partner. Michael would want sex multiple times a day and would ignore my pleas of exhaustion, telling me he knew I enjoyed it. But let's rewind a bit, shall we? Back to the days when I thought his enthusiasm was just a charming quirk. When we first met at a bar in Guildford, I mistook his introverted demeanor for shyness. Little did I know, behind those striking blue eyes lurked the libido of a Greek god. We met at a country pub the following week for dinner and drinks. Our connection was so strong, we ended up having sex that night, which was completely out of character for me. Our courtship was a whirlwind of romantic dinners and steamy encounters. I mean, who needs dinner in a movie when you can have dinner and, well, you get the idea. Sex was constant every time we saw each other, and sometimes multiple times a night or day. I remember thinking, gosh, he must really love me. He can't keep his hands off me. Little did I know. Fast forward a few years and we were exchanging vows, but amidst the blissful haze of wedding bells, there were red flags waving frantically in the background. Like the time Michael suggested we spice things and wanted to watch me having sex with another man. I refused, and instead he insisted we record our intercourse and me performing sex acts on him. I was uncomfortable, but I went with it. I noticed that he didn't welcome non-sexual physical contact, no brush of the hand or a kiss goodbye before work. He'd bypass all of that to get down to business. And so I endured years of what can only be described as a relentless onslaught of affection, with Michael showing about as much restraint as a kid in a candy store with a pocket full of quarters. Morning, noon, and night, he was like a one-man welcoming committee at the Pleasure Palace, with me as the reluctant VIP guest. I couldn't even load the dishwasher without him trying to turn it into a steamy scene from a romance novel and groping my boobs or fondling my private parts. But the real kicker came when I woke up one night to find him inside me. I pushed him away, disgusted, yet he seemed oblivious to why I was upset. It happened repeatedly for the rest of the marriage. I lived in fear of falling asleep because I never knew what was going to happen to me. Now, you might be wondering why I didn't just kick him to the curb then and there. Believe me, I was tempted, but years of conditioning had me convinced that maybe, just maybe, this was normal. We went on to have 3 children, now in their 20s, within 5 years. I made sure to ask the midwife when I could have sex again in front of Michael so he could hear the response. He told me there were other ways I could relieve him. It didn't have to be penetration. Even when I was ill, had my period, or was visibly on my knees with exhaustion looking after our 3 children, his sexual appetite was relentless. I stopped making an effort with my appearance in the hope that would deter Michael. I went for days without washing my hair, swapped tailored trousers, blouses, and feminine dresses for shapeless tracksuit bottoms and sweatshirts. Yet still, Michael's need for sex continued. In 2019, I had a breakdown triggered by a health scare and was signed off work for 6 months. Michael showed fleeting concern and sympathy, but inevitably tried to convince me sex would make me feel better. I finally confronted Michael, telling him I was at a breaking point with his total lack of respect for my body and my feelings. He told me I was the one with the problem because I didn't understand that sex was a basic human need. I started going for counseling, and it gave me the strength to move into the spare room. Then one spring morning in 2022, I woke to find him in the spare bed with me, and I snapped. I ended the marriage. Michael and I maintained brief contact for the year it took to sell the family home, buy new properties of our own, and finalize the divorce. But we don't talk now, which is a relief. Now, I'm not saying it's been easy. Divorce is about as much fun as a root canal without anesthesia. But with the support of my sister, my friends, and enough therapy to bankrupt a small country, I'm finally starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel. So here's to new beginnings, folks, and to anyone out there who's feeling like they're stuck in their own personal version of 50 Shades of Grey, just remember, you deserve better. And trust me, there's life after Mr. Overenthusiastic. This cop was caught having steamy booty calls on duty. Check out this video to find out all the wild details.